And Be Legendary presents A Name Tag is Necessary.
Let me live out my dream. Let me live out as what I intended to be. If you doubt me, then I have probably see. Well, my success is not what you expected of me. But I'ma live out my dream. So let me live out my dream. Let me live.
Yo, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of A Name Tag is Necessary. I'm Nametag Alexander. Gonna be a real quick hitter episode right here, so stick around for about the next 5 minutes. I doubt even 10, because we're gonna just get into, for a lot of my music artists that usually tap in to listen to the show or watch the stream, we're gonna talk about live performance royalties, basically how music artists overall can generate revenue just based off your live performances, as long as you register with a PRO, of course, a performer rights organization. Hold on, let me go ahead and add this. Let me present this. I hate when it's just like, for some reason, just this one image or just like me for whatever reason. In the meantime, make sure y'all tap the link in the description of this episode, because we do have merch available on the Leading Me Legendary website. So I had a link in there for you to order some merch. Shout out to Shantice for actually purchasing one of those A Name Tag is Necessary t-shirts. Now, I should be ashamed because I ain't even wearing one myself, but I do got the Leading Me Legendary trucker hat. Very comfortable hat. We got the embroidery stitch on there. I don't know if you could really tell on camera that it's embroidery, but make sure y'all go. Like I said, the link is in the description of the episode. Make sure y'all grab some merch. I'm gonna try to start shouting out like people that purchase merch, whatever. Knows I said shout out to Shantice for purchasing that t-shirt. So if you purchase some merch, hit me on social media if you can. Let me know what your name is, your handle is on social media. I'll be sure to shout you out on the show when I record, and remind me about it too. But let me add this image real quick. Hold on. 1 2 1 2. There we go. Yeah. All right, we're gonna quick hitter this episode. Like I said, we're about to talk about live performance royalties. A lot of music acts do not know that these venues y'all perform at, you can get paid. Like, even let's say you do a show pro bono, you don't get paid nothing for with cash, whatever. However, if it's a licensed venue, you can get paid music royalties. So I took down some notes, some not so thorough notes, so I'm gonna just breeze right through them, but enough to where you can understand like the process. Basically, what are performing rights organizations? Because I mentioned PROs. Basically, they're organizations that guarantee musicians, songwriters, and publishers get paid whenever their music is used. So you got the big players in the United States, which is ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC. Those names sound familiar. Drop that in the chat or whatever, or a comment on Spotify, wherever you're listening to. If you can comment, and if you're a musician, you likely belong to one of these. You should, if you don't already. That's very important. Like, don't just be putting music out and not register with like a ASCAP, PRO, or BMI or anything. Now, we talked about live performances. Now, how does this work? So just to give you a step-by-step process, pretty much, when you register your song with a PRO, if you are a member of, let's say, ASCAP, or we mentioned BMI, CSAC is another one, I believe. I think that's like invite only. If I think it's overseas based, I'm not too sure. Anybody that knows, correct me if I'm wrong in that. But you want to make sure all your music is registered in this database. This makes sense because the PRO won't be able to track your performances if they don't know what songs that you are that you wrote to or a part of. Maybe you co-wrote for somebody or whatever, right? Now, next step, you want to make sure you submit in the set list. I used to do this a lot when I used to like back in my I haven't performed in a long time, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, but when I did perform, I registered. I didn't do it for a long time until somebody told me, like, yo, you could register your set list and get performance royalties off of it. So I would do it. I would rock at the spot. A lot of people familiar, the Bullfrog. What's another joint that we used to rock at? One of them joints out of Hamtramck. And what was I'm drawing a blank on the names. Anyway, the Bullfrog stands out. The Shelter, which was the downstairs Hall of St. Andrews. I want to say I registered before for St. Andrews. Check wasn't nothing crazy. I won't disclose the amount, but the fact is, you perform enough and you register your music, you get paid off these performances. So make sure you do that. You want to submit your set list, whether you perform it live or even, like I mentioned earlier, like the venues I named. These are more smaller venues not St. Andrews, but the shelter would be considered one, being that it's in the basement of St. Andrews. Bullfrog, yep. So even if it's a local venue or stadium, you want to make sure your set list is registered with a PRO like ASCAP or BMI. It basically is just a list of all the songs you perform during that show. Now, every PRO, they got their own system for submitting these set lists. So it's direct on their website. I believe you're able to do it on, or nowadays the app. You can download the app and do it that way. Next step, what the venue does, they pay a licensing fee. These venues that host live music performances pay a licensing fee to the PROs, like again, ASCAP or BMI. So this fee pretty much is a way that they're given permission to play any music from your catalog. So, sometimes a lot of bars or venues don't have permission to play music from certain artists. So majority of the time in certain venues that you at, if you're hearing music, they got permission to play it or whatever. But this fee basically, it also goes to the PRO. What happens with the rest is distributed as royalties to the songwriters and the musicians who perform the music. So if I perform a song I wrote and also performed, and I'm getting, it's pretty much like double the pay, right? Next step, your tracks registered with the PRO, the ones that this is how the royalties are distributed. So once your set list is submitted, the licensing fee from the venue is collected. The PRO then tracks the performances. It calculates how much each songwriter and performer is owed. What that dollar amount is, how, I just know they divided. They split the pie down the middle pretty much. They distribute these royalties every quarter. So every 3 months, pretty much. So every few months, you'll get a check or direct deposit to your bank account based off your live performance royalties. So I say that to say, do that. Stop playing around. I see a lot of y'all performing at these venues, and I'll be wondering, are they registered? If you ain't, make sure you register those set lists. Every time you perform these songs, first, if the song not register the song. And then we start performing those songs, make sure to, you register in those set lists. Now, if we want to talk about numbers, the amount that you get paid for these live performances, it can vary. It depends on such things as like the size of the venue, the audience, how often the music is performed, while the payout for like I mentioned earlier, the payout for this performance, it might not be large or whatever, because I don't remember getting nothing too crazy. This is a while ago. We talk like maybe 2016, 2017, but it adds up over time, especially if you performing those songs on a regular. Like let's say if you got a couple like songs that are like mainstays and people always requesting you to perform it, that's gonna make sense to make sure you get paid out those performance royalties over time, especially if you're getting the cut quarterly off those royalties. So if you performing on a regular, so just keep submitting those set lists, because obviously I'm pretty sure you're not gonna do the same set list each time. You may want to switch it up, and make sure you are, I guess, do your due diligence. Be real diligent with your set list submission. So it sounds like it's a lot of work to do. It's really not. You just type in the name of the song, who produced, I'd imagine, the songwriter. It basically is metadata. That's all it is. Metadata, whatever, however you pronounce it. But that's all it is. But it's worth it though. Like I say, it adds up over time. My mess up is I hadn't been performing as consistent, which I do need to get back out there, to be honest. But if you're a consistent performer, this is perfect for you to do. So make sure you register that music for sure. I can't stress that enough. Always regularly update your PRO with these live performances, these set lists, so that you do get paid off every show that you do. Remember, as I said earlier, you might not get paid up front for a show. You might have did one for the free. However, you got that set list registered, your artist, you still get paid pretty much. Maybe every 3 months, but you still got paid. So I say that to say, just make sure you do that for sure. But just to kind of wrap it up in a quick recap, register your songs with a PRO. That's one. Number two, submit those set lists after every single performance. Every time you perform, make sure you go submit that set list. Make sure the venues where you are performing are paying their licensing fees. No matter the venue, make sure they're paying those licensing fees in order for you to get paid. Also, lastly, make sure the PRO is tracking those performances and distributing royalties to you. That's the last thing you want. You don't want to register and then they not paying. So always follow up, maybe audit, I don't know, just to make sure that you getting paid out per quarter. Anyway, like I said, so I pretty much got real quick hitter episode for the most part. I said it wasn't going to exceed pretty much past 10 minutes. Until next time, next episode, I do plan to have a guest. I just wanted to get this off real quick, just kind of talk to my songwriters and producers out there for the most part, and performing artists, of course, just about like how to, because even though I ain't doing it necessarily anymore like that, I'm pretty much, doing a podcast. I'm tapping into sync licensing a lot more. But I do want to get back out there and perform, though, of course, for sure. And when I do, I'm going to make sure I register those set lists. But in the meantime, make sure you tap that link in the description of the show. If you watch it on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for sure. If you're on Spotify, drop a comment, subscribe to the pod overall, man. And cop some merch. Stop playing. The merch is pretty fly, man. Cop some merch, support. In the meantime, it's a name tag. It's necessary. Peace.
You know the name. It's name tag. Ain't a damn thing changed. Here's a ticket for your admission.